Fashion Insider is proudly sponsored by GraziosoUK.com. Fashion programs that inspire and inform.
Hello and welcome to Fashion Insider, the programme that takes a look behind that elusive curtain of the fashion industry. I'm Annaliese, and over the course of the series, I'm going to be exploring the ins and outs of how the industry works, talking to up-and-coming and established professionals from a variety of fashion jobs. Let's take a look at what's coming up in this episode. Today I'll be revisiting and looking back at the series. I'll be discovering how Bene Culture are leading the way in independent retail and what the future holds for retail giants The Mailbox with Head of Retail David Pablo. I'll be discovering the history of leather and jewellery manufacturing in the area and looking back at two rising stars, brands 24 and One Boutique. Over the course of the series, we've been able to explore areas of the fashion industry that would otherwise go unnoticed, learning about the inside workings of fashion and speaking to industry professionals from a variety of different disciplines. In this last episode of the series, I would like to take a look back at some of the most informative and inspiring individuals working within the industry. Let's start by when we spoke to independent retailer Bene Culture. Today's shoppers have a lot more choice, with more ways than ever to discover new fashion products. Now, with buyers' habits becoming more sophisticated, it's even more important that independent retailers stay ahead of the curve to maximise trends and increase sales, while creating a personalised shopping experience for its customers. I'm here at Bene Culture, who's one of those stores who's managed to do that. Let's find out what goes on in here. So, Vimal, you are the founder of Bene Culture. What do you think about the future of retail? Obviously, a lot of sales are now taking place online. Does that affect what Bene Culture does?
It doesn't really, because we try to do events and try to put local artists, and hopefully that will bring us up. That's our main kind of path we want to use. That's definitely a different approach. Yeah. Do you guys work with other brands? Do you feature other brands in the store? We do. We've got a few brands from Birmingham and a few brands from the world. We've got a brand from Indonesia, a brand from South Africa, so we try to get a good blend of different brands in the store. And what advice would you give to somebody who wanted to open a retail space? I would say it's hard, but you have to network, you've got to meet the right people, you've got to do the graft, you've got to do the connections. So these are your pieces right here. Yeah. They look absolutely fabulous. Cheers, thank you. And what would you describe them as? I'd say it's basically just merchandise for the store. It's not a brand just yet, but it's just a few key pieces, a few t-shirts, long sleeves and a hoodie, just to get our name out there. Oh right, so it's merchandise along with the store. I like that. And then how did you go about designing this space? Okay, like this table here, that was literally a wall. We knocked that out and made a table out of that. Oh, perfect. We found these rails in the abandoned store on the corner and we painted it up, and that's pretty it. It's all done like quick time. Wow. No rush. So you don't need a massive budget to kind of get started with something like this. And what about the artwork? The artwork's done by Phil Fury. He's actually got a studio around the corner and he's worked with Nike, Adidas and Size, so he's really, really cool designer. Oh, nice. He's a really cool guy as well. Do you sell any of these? Yes, we do. That's like £200 if you want to buy it. Oh, I would look good in my house. Sick, I'm actually kind of feeling these hats as well. What's it say? It's all good. That's our motto. Hello. It's all good. I like it. I love how independent retailers such as Bene Culture are taking on the high street. It's that grassroots style of approach that is exciting to me, and surely it's what will make them successful. Also, the cutting edge of fashion retail is David Pablo from The Mailbox. So David, you are the head of retail here at The Mailbox. Can you tell me exactly what goes into merchandising and creating a successful retail environment?
Well, it's all about creating a great ambiance for customers. Some retailers, such as Lush, have a beautiful smells coming out of their stores. Other retailers will look at playing nice music as well. And there is different types of music which have affinities with customers to make them spend money, which is what it's all about. And also having different music, different lighting for different times of the day to actually make customers feel very comfortable and very relaxed, and hopefully they'll spend money in our stores. It's definitely a bit of a science, right? Because you're kind of playing on people's emotions and what gets them into the buying mood. Could you tell me, like,
the mailbox here, what do you guys specialise in creating that atmosphere?
Well, I mean, we are luxury, and you know, Birmingham is now a fabulous city for shopping. The only city outside London with the big 5 department stores. You've got great mainstream fashion in Boring. You've got great fashion in other centres like Great Western, where they have great independents, or even Grand Central. Here at Mailbox, we're very much more at the luxury end of the market. We've got a great retailer just behind me here, Harvey Nichols, and other brands such as Armani, Geeves and Hawkes. We find that, you know, for us, a lot of Birmingham people do like luxury brands. There's actually more millionaires in this part of the country than anywhere else outside of the southeast. It's 92,000 millionaires. Luxury in Birmingham is a little bit understated. I think sort of the Birmingham public they're not very showy, you know, they don't have like, you know, big brands all over themselves.
There's jewellery dripping.
It's much more sort of discreet. So what we offer is probably the home of luxury in Birmingham.
Over the years, this region has contributed a lot to the British fashion industry. And over the course of the series, we've been able to explore not only the current industry, but also the history of 2 of the region's most recognised trades, jewellery and leather. I visited 2 wonderful museums that preserve and celebrate these trades, starting with the Walsall Leather Museum. I thought we'd start by, why don't you tell me a little bit of history about the place?
Okay, well, we're in a building which was built 125 years ago this very year, and it was built primarily as a leather factory, and over many years it changed function, changed use. For about 20 years it was where most of Marks and Spencer's handbags were made.
Oh, very nice.
You can still see the holes in the floor where the ladies in stilettos were punching holes into the woodwork. And then it went through a derelict phase, and then the council bought it a few years ago and restored it beautifully.
Yeah, I mean, the building looks fabulous and I can't wait to take a look around this afternoon. And I know you've got some great displays on, and as the curator, it's your decision actually.
My privilege, yes.
It's your privilege as to what gets displayed here. How do you go about choosing those pieces?
We're trying to tell the story of the trade from the early days, from 1800 right up to the modern day. So we choose things that help us to do that. And then new things come in, people donate things, we buy things at auction. We're always looking to refresh the displays, try and give people a reason to come back. If they've been before, you know, why would they come again? So we're putting on temporary exhibitions. So we like to keep it changing. Yeah.
And then when it was a factory, when was it in its heyday?
Well, this particular factory was probably booming in the 50s and 60s when it was making all those handbags for Marks and Spencer.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you could just imagine these rooms packed full of young women, you know, cutting and stitching away.
Busy working away.
Absolutely. And the clatter of the stilettos, it must have been amazing.
And then I know that Walsall has a big leather industry at the moment. It's still very happening. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, people always assume, they say, oh, what a shame all the industry's gone. And in fact, you know, I'm really proud of the fact we still have quite a dynamic leather industry in Walsall. It's in 2 parts. Saddlery trade, which is really successful, is a global industry supplying top show jumpers, equestrians all around the world, Olympic teams, you name it. And then there's what's called a small leather goods industry, purses, wallets, more the fashion side of things.
That's the stuff I like.
and some of our local companies are doing incredibly well. We've got a couple of royal warrant holders. We've got one firm in particular that's really doing incredible business in Japan. The Japanese love their work, can't get enough of it. So it's a living industry, which is really exciting.
So Rupert, you're from the Jewellery Quarter Museum. How are you?
That's right, I'm fine, thanks.
Now, this area has got a really rich history in jewellery making. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, jewellery making has been going back in the town since about the 1460s. That's the first definite record. But precious metal working became established in the later 17th century when Charles II came out of exile. And he came out of exile bringing a taste for fancy buttons and buckles and stuff. And Birmingham manufacturers started making them. And so well established did that become that this became known as the toy shop of Europe. And then the jewellery trade grew out of that as a sideline, a specialist sideline of it.
Wow, I love hearing about the rich history of like any kind of trade really.
Yes.
But standing in this magnificent room, it used to be a factory, right?
Yes.
So when was it in its heyday?
In about the 50s and 60s. It began in 1899 when Charles Smith and his uncle Edwin Pepper decided to break away from their dad's company called Smith & Newman, and they specialised in making bangles and bracelets. And the 50s and 60s, they had so many orders on the books that the boss would go down to London to see his customers, but just to go around thanking them for the sheer amount of work they had coming in. So it was very busy.
I can imagine, there's a lot of different workspaces here. How many people were working in this factory?
Well, down in the factory down here, there were 37 people at work down here, and then there were about 4 people upstairs.
Wow.
But the Birmingham trade was a trade of something called small masters in general, which was a trade of small-scale firms. So this was considered a medium to large-scale firm for Birmingham jewellery trade. And somebody once told me for the size of this firm, it was one of the larger gold producers in the country.
There's something really nice about visiting a museum that used to be at the heart of an industry. Join me after the break when I'll be visiting James Newman in his jewellery workshop.
Fashion Insider is proudly sponsored by GraziosoUK.com. Fashion programmes that inspire and inform. Fashion Insider is proudly sponsored by GraziosoUK.com. Fashion programmes that inspire and inform.
Now it's time for Annaliese's Pieces, my favourite part of the show where I get to style together fashion pieces to create an entire outfit. We've spoken to some fabulous designers over the course of the series, and for this Annaliese's Pieces, I wanted to feature stylish, wearable looks from some of these talented designers. Kimberly McKenna is one of the designers we spoke to at BCU. Her women's wear collection features lots of awesome textured knitwear. This knit jumper is cosy yet chic, the perfect thing to throw on those winter days. The cable knit technique is used in the front, while the back is pearl stitch. This combination of stitching not only adds texture and depth, but makes the jumper more interesting. Now, this simple fab jumper doesn't need much. These simple high-waisted grey trousers are the perfect addition. The Kimberly McKenna brand is all about adding texture to outfits while keeping silhouettes feminine and classy. You can find out more at kmckenna.com. Throughout the series, we've been lucky enough to gain access to parts of the industry that are usually closed off to the public. It's been great taking a look inside the inside workings of the industry, featuring skills and resources that operate out of the region. This was definitely the case when I visited James Newman in his jewellery workshop. All right, so James, we are in your studio and this is where all the magic happens. I hope it's not a stupid question, but like, how does, say, gold get delivered to you? Is it a sheet of gold? Is it a block of gold? What is it?
Because we're in the jewellery quarter, you've got a really great supply chain here. Yeah. So we've got people who do kind of manufacture gold products. Right. So we can get gold in a pure form, in a grain form, and we can work it that way. Okay. We can buy it in as sheets and wires. So we can get a certain alloy of gold, an 18 karat gold. Okay. It can be a wire form or a sheet form.
So it wasn't a stupid question, there are different forms that it can arrive in.
Absolutely, yeah. And we can also refine and rework what we're working with ourselves.
Of course.
So we're always collecting all the scraps and the dust and reworking those. So we'll put them back together, melt them down again and reuse them.
Yeah, so obviously as you're like bending and manipulating the gold, you have loads of like flecks that kind of come off, and so you save those, scrape those up and save them so you can make another piece.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, that's efficient, I like that.
It's a really recyclable product at the end of the day.
Yeah.
What we make today, in many years to come, will probably be pulled apart, melted down and made into something else. And likewise, the metals that we're using today, there'll be parts of that metal that will be hundreds, if not thousands of years old, that's been through many different kind of forms.
That's so exciting. It's like the circle of jewellery.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so talk me through this station. There's a lot going on here. I'm a bit scared I might poke myself on something. But
lots of sharp pointy things.
Tell me.
So basically we've got a jeweller's bench. The jeweller's bench, again, is very much a traditional way of working.
Solid.
Exactly. You can't improve upon it. It's a functional area for us to work on. Each jeweller has a peg. The peg is basically kind of like your third hand, so you kind of use the peg to hold what you're working on. You might saw cut it, you might file something on here. It's very much to hold the object, and all these little holes and marks on there have been done as a kind of a process of making something. So you might hold a ring, and depending if you're left and right-handed, you'll hold it in certain areas, but each peg is very unique to the jeweller.
This peg is going to tell 1,000 stories.
Yeah, literally.
If this peg could talk, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you see, everyone's peg is different. Everyone has a slightly different way of working, so they're very much unique to the person who's working.
All right, so Katie, what are you doing over here?
I'm working with palladium,
right?
A two-part ring. It's very similar to platinum. I'm working with a pendant motor, and you can use any different ends with it to polish up the inside through different buffing stages.
It's kind of like the dentist drill that they take off all the plaque with.
Like the dentist drill.
Show me, show me. I don't want to disturb you.
Hi, my name is Raquel Kearney and I'll be graduating with Fashion and Accessories Design. So I started working in leather first, and then I realized that not just leather, but I could use so many other things in accessories. So that's why I wanted to use accessories, because I can go and create anything that I want using any kinds of material. Wearable technology is definitely the next big thing, and I mean in future your garments and your accessories or your shoes, everything, it's going to be under electronics and wearable technology. I love making bags, so much, but at the same time I love wearing it as well. So, and I mean it's such a proud moment when you take your own product, go outside and people are coming to you and asking, oh, that's a good bag, that's a really nice creative product. So I think the passion comes from within, so if you love making bags, I'm sure you love wearing them as well. I definitely want to start my own brand, and I think I'm going to do it as soon as possible, because there's not many people right now in wearable technology, and sooner I start, I think sooner it's going to be better for me.
There's no one we wanted to feature more in this series than independent up-and-coming designers. These are the people that keep the industry moving forward, and their ideas and determination have been such an inspiration. I wanted to revisit 2 independent brands that have gone from strength to strength. So we're here at Moda, and I'm joined by Lucy, who is the head designer of independent brand 24. And what I really want to find out is how you got into fashion. I always find that so exciting.
I've always been quite creative and interested in fashion, so it just seemed natural for me to move into making my own collection, and I wanted to create some beautiful, simple pieces of a high quality that I could share with the public.
With everyone?
Yeah, with everyone.
I'm so excited to have a look through your pieces, but it's always great to know what people's inspiration was. What's the inspiration behind this collection?
I just wanted to create something fuss-free, easy to wear, that you could just go to your wardrobe and it would become like a staple for you. So that was my main priority in the creation of the collection.
Do you think there's an advantage to being an independent over, say, a bigger brand?
Yeah, I definitely do. You have a lot of freedom to do what you want with your pieces. You can put as much of yourself into them as you want, and yeah, it's pretty much an expression for you, so it's great. That's one of the big advantages of having your own collection.
It's this is your artwork.
Yeah, this is my baby.
And I bet it comes from the soul,
yeah,
right?
Definitely. I feel like the best form of expressions are from within, so and this is what comes from within me. So
I'm definitely looking forward to having a look through your children. All right, so Siobhan, you are the director of One Boutique.
Yes, I am.
And what was it that attracted you to Moda?
Well, I sort of had it on my radar for a little while. I knew it was a massive show and there'd be a lot of people, a lot of contacts I could make, even if I didn't make any sales necessarily here. It'd be a great opportunity to sort of get my name out there and sort of reach a wider audience.
Yeah. And is this your first trade show that you've been to?
This is my first ever trade show.
So how long has your brand been running then?
Been running 2.5 years. I was on my own for the first year or so, and I hired one other person who's with me today. So we've been sort of mainly focusing online, but now we're sort of ready to spread our wings a little bit and get into some shops and sort of start building that way.
Yeah. And who are you looking to meet here at Moda? Is it boutiques? Is it individuals?
Well, I was sort of looking to meet a lot of independents. That's sort of how the market's sort of set up. There's a lot of independents, a sort of a bit of multi-chain, and then there's some massive online retailers.
Yeah.
You know the names of them. So I was hoping to sort of meet like a nice sort of range of sort of mix of a few different people. So I've made quite a few different contacts and stuff like that. So.
And would you say that trade events like Moda are important to independent brands?
I think it's definitely something that everyone should consider.
Yeah.
Definitely look into it and see whether it would specifically suit your target audience. So different shows are better for different sort of brands and things like that, but it's definitely something which is a good starting point.
So that rounds up my look back at this series of Fashion Insider. I hope you enjoyed our exclusive access into the British fashion industry. So until next series, I've been Annaliese Days.
Fashion Insider is proudly sponsored by GraziosoUK.com. Fashion programs that inspire and inform.